are we going? It's so good to see you, kind of in a commenting type way. I don't know.
What?
But we see you, and it's so good to be here. We have missed you guys so much, and we're so happy to have Dean and Yanina with us. Yeah! I don't know what Dean is wearing. I don't get the hat, but hey, I think he thinks it's cool. So let us know. Do you think his hat is cool? Is it cool?
Overwhelming yeses from everyone, guaranteed. Stop being racist.
What about my earrings? Do you like my earrings?
They're toothbrushes. Oh my gosh, I love them. See, they're cool. Really cool. Guys, what's more cool, Dean's hat or Yanina's toothbrush earrings? Who knows?
Because people love it.
What about unity rather than division?
Maybe they make each other cool together.
You could have said, how cool are their outfits together? Instead you say, no, let's pit them against each other and drive a wedge in there.
Well, you guys are married, and no matter what happens or division, you have to stay with one another. So, you know, like...
Is there a
Sometimes
prize?
it can make it difficult, though.
Do we get more pancake mix?
Hopefully. I've got 20 boxes, so there is a possibility. There is a possibility for more pancake mix. But, hey, Gateway Youth, we really are so good that we can be here together. We do apologise for Friday night and just the difficulties that we had. But we're here, and now you can see everything and relive what we lived on Friday night in a really safe way where nothing will interfere. So good. So give us a so good, Anna, come on. Obviously, this is our panel night, and we're so grateful to have Dean and Yanina with us. I think I missed something, but that's okay. We are recording this at home, so we're just going to start off with some funny questions, get to know Dean and Yanina a little bit. We've all known them from our camp experiences and different events. They love you guys, don't you?
Totally.
Yeah. They really do, and that's why they're using their time, spending their time with you guys in this platform. So here are the questions. Are you guys ready?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, number one. Yanina, you can go first. If you had to change your name, what would you change it to and why?
I would change my name. Well, now I like my name, but when I was growing up, I wanted to be Australian because I wasn't born here. So I wanted anything Australian, like Hayley or Amanda or something, like my Australian
Crystal
friends.
with a K and a Y.
Maybe. But when I used to get coffee and they'd ask my name, I would say Melissa. So go with Melissa. Just because they would be like, huh? Shanine? Huh? And I'm like, Melissa. They got it right.
Yeah. You kind of look like a Melissa.
I think so.
Yeah, you could pull that off. Yeah, very cool. And Dean, what about you?
Clifford von Strauss.
You look like a cliff. I know with that hat.
Where's that? Why?
Sorry?
Why?
Clifford von Strauss. Hey, Cliff, what's up? Von Strauss. What a badass nickname and surname.
Pretty good.
No
Did you pick it from somewhere, or did you just make it up? Like,
made it up.
Just made it up for the question.
Just then.
Not Dino Bravo.
No, that's been done.
Maybe a name to match your hat, like you're going hiking or something.
What's a Canadian name?
Is it a Canadian sort of hat? I don't know.
believe so.
What's a Canadian name, guys? Suggest one.
Sure.
What is a Canadian name? I can't even think. Guys, Google on your phones. Let us know. What is it? Is Jordan? Jordan's a Canadian name?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Pierre would be a name for a Canadian.
Yeah, that's like Italian, isn't it?
French, isn't it? Okay, anyway.
French.
Question.
We should move on. Okay, let us know if you know what a Canadian name is, guys. But number two, what is something your brain tries to make you do and you have to will yourself not to do?
Not my brain makes me want to go to the pantry to get more chocolate. I have to will myself not to. Or ice cream, especially the ones from Not Quite Right.
I actually had an amazing ice cream tonight. It was awesome.
Oh, really? The Magnum, what's it called? What's that ice cream?
Magnum PI.
No, was it
Praline.
Praline. If you haven't tried it, the Magnum Praline, little tub,
Yeah,
super
pretty
expensive,
good, but it's amazing.
but it's $2 at Not Quite Right.
Ooh.
I
Very, very good.
am not endorsed by them, but they're pretty good.
We might be now that we've given them a shout out on YouTube. So who knows? Yeah. What about you, Dean?
I used to have the TV volume on a multiple of 5.
Yep.
So if I was turning up the TV, it would be on 5 or 10, 15, 20, 25. It would never be anywhere in between.
But what if 22 is too loud, but then 20 is not low enough? I mean, isn't high enough?
Negative. I would make it be loud enough. 25 it is. 20 it is. 15 it is.
But now
I just don't care.
Okay.
Yeah.
But for a long time, multiples of 5. Ask Ben Salvador, true story.
It's true.
There you go. Oh,
To listen to TV on whisper mode.
On volume 2.
Yep.
Well, I can definitely relate with you, Yanina, especially if I'm at my grandparents' house, because I was thinking about this yesterday. I was at Nono Nonna's and they were like, here, have some food, eat outside on the, like, here's a plate. And I'm like, no, I'm not hungry. I'm totally fine. They're like, no. Here, smell. You'll eat. And I eat. Literally. Like, every time I'm there, no matter how many times I say no, like, she's like, I'll cook for you. And I'm like, no, I'm okay. And then she just puts food on the table and I'm like,
gotta do it.
Were you socially distanced at the time?
Yes.
Excellent. Well done, you.
Good job.
They've set a little like one of those outside tables, like those small little round ones with 2 chairs. And I just sit there and they sit on the stairs, like just like before.
It's so sad. It's so sad.
It is. It's so sad. But hopefully restrictions are lessening soon. So we'll see how we go. But let's move on to the third question. All right. What ridiculous thing has someone tricked you into doing or believing?
I don't get tricked.
Not even as a kid, Dean.
Never.
No.
Not gullible.
When my parents first told me about Santa Claus, I'm like, false. How can one man travel the globe?
I'm very gullible, and so I have believed many things in the past. The one that I remember most getting laughed at a lot was in year 12, a friend of mine pulled one of his hairs out and said, hey, look, Yanina, because that's what they used to call me in high school. Look, Yanina, my hair stretches. And he was just sliding his fingers across. And I was like, whoa, that's amazing.
I totally would have believed that if you didn't tell me. That was like, if you would be without this question context and you would just be like, hey, Faith, look at this. I can stretch my hair. I'd probably believe you.
Yeah. I didn't mind, though. I was used to being gullible. Kind of was fun to have people have fun. I didn't mind.
Well, Gateway Youth, are you guys gullible? Make sure you tell us. Like, everyone knows I'm gullible. I think we know that. But what about you guys? Is Richard gullible? Who reckons Richard's gullible? I reckon he is.
Yeah. He's book smart, but not necessarily street smart.
What about Derek?
He's homework smart. I don't know.
He's music smart. I don't know.
He tall smart.
Well, we need to send something, come up with something, see who believes it and who doesn't.
Everyone's gonna know.
Yes.
I know, you've just ruined it. Oh well,
Just
who knows?
Listen periodically, and then I'll give you a complete list of gullibles and gullible knots.
Okay, sounds like a plan.
Yeah. First youth back. Dean's here. Don't worry. Just ignore him.
Guys, just laugh at us. Tell us if you're laughing at us. Who's more funny? Who you're embarrassed for? You're probably embarrassed for me, but that's okay. I'm good for a good laugh. So now, guys, we're just going to like take it down a notch. We're going to imagine the twinkling on the piano. The Holy Spirit is about to drop in this place. As we get a little deeper, as we search those souls, as we ask the deep questions. I make myself laugh, guys, but who's into going deeper? We all know that we are. So in all seriousness, we're going to go deeper because I don't know about you guys, but Dean and Yanina, we're going to put the anchor. You're going to rest that anchor right now. Yeah. Go way deep and keep that boat still and steady. Oh my gosh, that is so cool. Yes.
That was not planned. That was just our kids' toys right next to us.
I love that so much. But no, in all seriousness, these guys are absolutely amazing. They've just got so much wealth and wisdom, and you know, there's so much more than us making us laugh and you know, Dean trying to beat us at dodgeball and all those type of things. But
Trying, please.
no, he pretty much beats us, but that's okay. But we just really wanted to just ask them some questions, some faith-based questions, you know, stuff that's going on for all of us at the moment with COVID-19. So I'm just going to jump in there as we go deeper. But Dean, you can go first on this one. But sorry.
Yep, go.
Okay. What do you feel God is inviting us to in this season?
The challenge has been to not ignore what's happening at the moment with coronavirus, but to not lose focus on what God is doing. God's not taking a break. He's not swayed by circumstance like we are. So he's really challenged me to follow him in what he's doing during this time, because it's very easy to get distracted by what's happening and get caught up in that rather than getting caught up in what the Lord's doing and how he's moving. I'm not saying at all that we should be ignoring what's happening, because that would be silly, but if I take my eyes off the Lord, he's going to be doing things without me, and I want to be a part of what he's doing. He doesn't stop operating, and his kingdom continues to come. So I've been challenged to keep my eyes on him rather than just getting caught up in the hysteria and overemphasis on what's happening at the moment. Like I said, it's not about discounting what's happening, but it's important not to let it consume us too.
Yeah, wow, I love that. So good. I heard someone say a few weeks back saying if we don't provide a vision for people to follow, then they're going to follow the vision of what's presented to them. And like, particularly in COVID, like everything is fear-based, you know, so like, yeah, just, you know, the vision that God sets before us is so much greater than what the world gives. And I love that. That's awesome. Give us a so good, guys. Tell us what you think, or if you want Dean to expand or Yanina to expand on something, let us know. Put the questions in the comments and we'll answer back, or we'll do another panel night later in the term or something like that, and we will answer the questions to the best of our ability. But let us know your thoughts, because yeah, we want to hear from you guys. We love you guys, and your voice is important. So yes, it's so good. Thanks for sharing, Dean. What about you, Yanina? What do you feel God is inviting us to in this season of COVID?
For me personally, just to slow down. It hasn't felt like I've felt the opposite actually since this started, for many reasons. But yeah, I think he's inviting me to try and to really seek him, and to try and find that I can abide in him and be at peace and really centered on him in the midst of so much stuff like homeschooling, kids at home all the time without being able to go out, and missing my family and friends. And it's just, yeah, it feels like there's a lot of pressure, and also, you know, just people are in fear. So that's hard, like when that's in your face a little bit. But just in the midst of all that, being able to be like, I am okay and I'm centered, and it doesn't matter what's going on around me. I can just be just at peace with the Lord and say it is well with my soul.
Yeah.
Really find that place that I'm not driven by everything around me, because I'm very easily influenced person in some ways. So I think that's being my challenge, is like, just, I know all this is crazy and there's so many responsibilities, but you can actually stay centered, because I don't change, and I stay the same. My love is the same. My grace is the same as, you know, when you're on holidays and relaxing and it's all good. He provides what we need. So yeah, that's
wow,
a challenge.
I love that. So good. Preach it. So good. Yeah, come on guys, rest. Be still and know that I am God. That's an invitation for all of us in this season of COVID. So good, guys. All right, number 2. What's the biggest lesson you have learnt from God, and how has it impacted your life now?
Took me a while to learn it, but I learned how important it is to love my wife in the way that Jesus loved the church. So I've always loved Yanina since I've known her. I've always tried my best to treat her with love and respect and to do stuff for her and all the rest of it. But at the same time, there was always a self-centeredness regarding how I conducted myself within our marriage. That wasn't necessarily deliberate, but there was always stuff that I wanted fulfilled in my life and that I wanted to do and all the rest of it. But what I've really learned in this season, just recently, actually, only a few months back, is how important it is to lay down my life for my wife and to love her before myself and to put her needs before my own, just as Jesus did for us, right? He loves the church so much. He's, he dies for the church, you know what I mean? And it was really important to really get my head around that and then just to start doing it. And it's not to say that I'm this big martyr who now just goes without all the time or anything like that, because life hasn't got worse for me or harder. It's become absolutely amazing compared to what it was, which is, again, only by God's design, because the way that I'm trying and choosing and striving to love my wife now has had implications and ramifications in my life for the better because of that. Now, that's not why I do it, but it's an amazing bonus. And again, that's just, that's in the architecture of the Lord, in the way that if we serve him the right way and do things the way he asks us to, we inevitably get blessed by that anyway. And so that's just another example of this. But the initial challenge to lay my life down for my wife was the hard part. But now that I'm learning to do that more and more, it's becoming easy. And again, I'm just getting blessed for it. And it's quite amazing the way that God has done that. But again, it's getting over that sense of pride initially and getting over that selfishness initially, which is the hard part. And these aren't things that are huge, that everyone normally would just say, oh, there's nothing wrong with what you're wanting to do for yourself or whatever. But I knew that there was a higher calling for my marriage and what I've currently experienced. And it came to a head for me one night when, it was pretty brutal the way that God showed me, but I'm glad he did, because since then it's just been so much better.
Yeah, wow. Thanks for being so honest. That's awesome. Yeah.
I think for me, there's many things God has taught me, but one of the biggest things that really changed a lot of, the way I viewed everything and myself mostly, was when I was a young adult, and he showed me that I was just such a slave to comparison, such a slave to determining my self-worth, by people around me. So if I walked into a room and there were, a whole bunch of girls there and they're all, prettier than me or smarter than me, whatever, I would assess as that I would feel really intimidated and like I wasn't worth much. And then in another room, where I felt like, oh, I'm top dog here, then I would, be all confident. And so my confidence was just based on rubbish, based on all these things of world, and the Lord just gave me a revelation about that, and was like, it doesn't matter who you're with, you are who I made you to be. And you need to be strong in what I say about you, and that I think you're enough. Like, you are enough. You don't have to keep striving. And so that just opened up like a whole new world for me, because I wasn't walking around or measuring myself up to, or who's, around, or who am I with. And I was just able to actually accept people for who they were more so as well, and to love them for who they are, regardless of whether the world says that they're, no good, or, like, God loves each of us, and we are all important. We are all unique. There is, no one who's better than anyone else. And so, that was just such a, like, oh, thank you, Lord. It just released me. It was just such a, you can be under that yoke of slavery in comparison, and it can really just, ruin your life sometimes,
Yeah. And I think that's such a timely message, you know, especially, you know, for us, but for you, you know, being at school and, you know, living in a world that continues to compare, you know, students with other students and teachers versus, you know, the other teachers and all the rest of it. And it can be so hard to get caught up in that world of comparison and, you know, like you were saying, you know, become a slave to that. And, yeah, I guess getting to that point of having that own revelation for yourself, that you are enough, that you are fearfully and wonderfully made, that, you know, you don't need to try and be someone else because you are uniquely crafted is, yeah, I think that's really, really powerful. And guys, I hope you hear that, because you are so fearfully and wonderfully made. You guys are beautiful. You guys are exactly who you are meant to be. You're, you know, not too short or not too tall. You're, you know, you shouldn't have a different coloured set of eyes or be like this type of person, but who you are is exactly enough, and that's exactly who and what God loves about you and what we love about you guys. So, yeah, I hope you so hear that message and have that revelation for yourselves that who you are is exactly enough.
Amen.
Yeah, come on, so good. Come on, guys, give us a so good. That was so good, yeah? Like, come on. All right, question number 3.
You just say it yourself.
Yeah, of course, man. Totally. I'm totally so good myself. Can I so good myself, guys? Is that allowed? I don't know. I think so. Sometimes I surprise myself. I'm like, yeah, wow, I just said that.
It's like having a speech and starting your own clap. People are forced to follow, but yeah.
I like it. Keep going.
Do your own hip hip hoorays for your birthday song?
Yeah.
Aww, that's cute.
Or sad.
You know what? As much as people can celebrate me, I can celebrate me.
Yeah, you totally can.
Yeah.
To a degree. It becomes
all right, let's move on to question number 3. What's your favorite scripture and why?
Favorite
Scripture?
Yeah.
John 3:16.
Off by heart. What?
There are lots of good ones, but all-time favorite is John 3:16, because it's a gospel message.
True, bro.
That,
it's a good news.
It's a good news. Jesus, he loved us. He died for us so we wouldn't perish, and amazing grace. And if you
how sweet.
how sweet the sound. That's, if you're going to learn one verse, learn that verse. But it's just, it's my favorite.
Yeah.
Yep.
Can you quote it?
For God so loved the world, that he gave his only Son, that whoever believes in him will not perish but have everlasting life.
Oh, that was actually beautiful.
Tough act to follow.
It is. Good luck.
You got to sing your answer now.
Well, Jesus wept is the smallest verse in the Bible.
It's not your favorite verse.
But it's not my favorite.
No.
My favorite.
Did I guess your favorite verse?
No.
No, because I already know what it is.
That would be witchcraft.
Sorry.
Matthew 6:33. Seek first my kingdom and my righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well. So that's important to apply in my everyday life, because I could want for a lot of things. I could worry about a lot of things, whether it's, food on the table, clothes on my back, paying the mortgage, having a job, friends, family, whatever it may be. But if I just seek the Lord and seek his righteousness and his kingdom, God will take care of the rest. He's already promised numerous times in the Bible that, look at the birds of the sky and the flowers of the field, you know what I mean? Like, I know he'll provide for me, but the important part is not just knowing he'll provide for me, but he's focusing on his kingdom and his righteousness. Without that, I'm just kicking back and expecting him to give me stuff. So if I'm seeking his righteousness and his kingdom first and foremost, and doing what I'm supposed to be doing as a child of God, then I can have absolute confidence that God's promises will be active in my life.
Yeah, wow.
Because I can't expect those to be active in my life if I'm not engaging with him and what he's doing.
Yeah.
It's good.
I love that. And it can be really hard though sometimes, hey?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not easy, but yeah. That's the way it has to be.
Yeah, no, it's so good. All right, number 4, how do you spend time with God?
I like to read the Bible and pray. I love listening to worship music as a way of preparing for reading the Word of God, and just music really helps me to just stay focused and stay focused on the Lord. So even having background music like worship music is kind of like it's a really helpful soundtrack to just hearing from the Lord. So often if it's dead quiet in a room or whatever, my mind can go a little bit more like, oh, I've got to do this tomorrow, I've got to do that. But if there's worship music, it kind of tends to center me in so that I'm continuing to focus when I pray, when I read the Bible. And if the house is empty, which doesn't happen often, or sometimes, it doesn't happen often, I like to dance. So like, not just like dance for me, but dance for the Lord. So just have worship music and move as I worship Him, not necessarily sing, but like those, you see them in the churches with the flags and things, but in my own way, I love dancing.
Not many people know that Shanina was part of a crew called Break Dance for Jesus.
That's not true.
No, I was Gullible.
It's not off the list.
But
I could actually see that being a thing, though.
I did dance.
That's the trick with tricking people, is just close enough to the truth, but not.
Yeah. So I did dance at one of the Youth Alive events at Rod Laver Arena years ago when I was a youth.
True story.
Yeah, I auditioned as well.
Wow, mate, there's just so much that I know about you. I think I know everything, and then
bam.
Give us a bomb emoji or a bam emoji, guys. Give us some fire signs because that was totally lit. Nah.
Richard, give me a black thumbs down for that.
It's racist.
Anyway, back to the question. How I spend time with the Lord. Journaling. And I used to think journaling was lame, and this is why it's not lame. Journaling my prayers each day has helped me to focus on what I'm actually saying, because, man, if anyone knows me, I burn the candle at both ends. So as soon as I get down, my body rejoices because it's blessed, and my eyes start closing. So if I'm journaling, I can't just fall asleep while I'm praying, because it's happened before, man. Focus on what I'm doing. I can be purposeful in what I'm doing. I can be sure of what I'm actually praying about. I can keep proper focus. But one of the best things for me is I can then look back and see how far I've come with the Lord and what He's been doing in my life. I go, man, I feel like I'm struggling in this department or whatever, and then I can flick back to however many weeks ago and I go, far out, it was so much worse, but it's better now, and I get to hold on to that then, and I can see the progress that I've been making with Jesus. And so journaling's become something that helps me to be deliberate in my prayer and to stay focused and on track with what I'm doing. Some people don't like journaling, and I understand. I never have. It's just, it was a chore, but now that I've started doing it, man, I love it. It's really, really good. I like to read the Bible as well. Depending on what season I'm in, it will change what I'm reading. And Every Day with Jesus is a little handout thing too that I've started reading now. I've got some old copies of my mum. They're out of date, but it doesn't matter. The messages are still amazing. So I try to read those as well. Yeah, devotionals are the same. Obviously, I love to worship, but we've missed out on doing that as a church recently. But we can still do that in what we've been doing recently, so that's okay too. But yeah, my encouragement to people who struggle to spend time with the Lord is to start small. Just do the best that you can and start small, because if you have too high expectation on yourself, I'm going to spend an hour praying today, you're going to fail, man. You're just going to fail. And the analogy I always use is if you go to the gym, you can't just hop on a bench press and start bench pressing 300 kilograms. You can't jump on a treadmill the first time you go and run for an hour straight, like on a high speed. You just can't do it. Whenever you go to the gym, you start small and you work your way up. These spiritual disciplines that we speak of, like reading the word and spending time in prayer, they're spiritual disciplines that have to be developed, they have to be worked on. So start small. Spend 5 minutes praying a day. That's it, just 5 minutes. And before you know it, you'll be able to pray for 10, 20, or whatever it may be. But if you start small, at least you can keep consistent at that instead of aiming too high, failing, then feeling guilty or ashamed, and then just throwing in the towel. So start small and tithe your time. So put time aside for the Lord at a time that you know you can give him your best, rather than giving him your leftovers at the end of the night when you're really tired and you're about to go to bed.
Yeah.
That's my...
I love that, man. That's so good. And I think, like, I don't know if you guys would have anything to say into it, but, like, especially in your younger years, you know, you hear of all these different ways to spend time with God, like whether it's journaling or, you know, worshiping or however it looks. And, you know, I think for me, I'd always ask people, like, how do you spend time with God? How do you spend time with God? And try and copy that. But I think even for me, it's constantly changing the way that I spend time with God, but I've had to learn how I best connect with God. And for me, I'm very similar to Yanina. Especially if I'm not in the mood or I'm really, really tired, I put worship music on, and that just gets me in the atmosphere because I'm a worshiper at heart, and it just leads me into that space. So I don't know if you guys have anything to say to that, but that was definitely something I had to work out.
Sorry, man. God speaks to us all differently individually, right? So we can't expect to do what this person's doing. So again, comparing yourself to someone else, it's a red herring. It's a waste of time, because it's just going to take valuable time and energy of yours trying to work the way that someone else is working when it's not going to be helpful for you. I had a friend of mine from our church, it doesn't matter who, but once they asked my dad, how do you spend time with the Lord? Like, because I want to do that too. I want to be able to operate in the Spirit the way you do. And Dad was like, yeah, no worries, I'll tell you. And then he started explaining what he does each day, and the person's like, what do you mean? Like, I don't know. That sort of thing. And so, but again, that's the danger of comparing. You need to work with the Lord with what works for you. And God speaks to us in different ways. And
you discovered only recently about nature for you.
Yeah, so God speaks to me when I'm out in the world, like as far as nature and all the rest of it go. He uses things to teach me stuff, and I was blown away by that because I didn't think that was a thing, but absolutely it is. And he speaks to me that way. So make sure that you know your walk with the Lord is yours. The only thing that I'll say is an absolute cop out is when you say, I don't need to pray that much with the Lord because him and I, you know, we have this thing. That's not true at all. I mean, if you're not spending time with the Lord, like intimately, whether it's reading the word, worship or prayer, you're not spending time with the Lord. Just the way it is. How you do that is completely up to you, but that has to be happening at some point. Just the whole, me and God are cool, that's not a thing.
And can I just clarify, because we're using the word worship, I think what we mean is worshiping with music, but when we give him our best of our time and when we spend time with him and when we, you know, are just living a life that's surrendered to him, that is worship. So just to clarify, just because I'm a worship leader, it's not like worship only happens when you're singing a song to the Lord.
Worship training.
But yeah, you can work. Yeah, but
worship's a lifestyle. It's
lifestyle surrender. Yeah, exactly. So when we're talking about worship, I guess we're referring to music and the most typical way people refer to worship. You know, worship the Lord, but that's not entirely what worship is. Just that. Yeah.
Worship, by definition, requires sacrifice of ourselves. If you're not giving up anything at all, whether it's time, energy, effort, pride, whatever it is, not worship.
Yeah. Wow. And that's really challenging. It's a sacrifice, so it would be challenging.
Yeah, but you know, like he's so kind, so amazing that you just once you continue in that path, then it becomes easy because you just miss him. You just want to spend that time with him, and And he's so personal, you know, like he just knows what you like. If your best time is having a coffee in the morning, to favorite time is like, can I share that with you? Can you like, can you do that while you have your morning coffee? You know, if you love painting, then invite him into that space.
Totally. Yeah.
Things that you like doing, because he's like, oh, I love doing that because I invented that.
Yeah. And like when you love someone, you want to spend time with them, you know, like you want to spend every moment of every day with them. And, you know, as you grow your relationship with God and you get to know more and more of him and his character, you fall more in love with him, and it becomes this natural yearning, like desire within you. Like, I want to wake up and spend time with God. I want to, you know, look for him in every day, not just when I'm spending personal time, but how is he speaking to me when I'm walking down the street or whatever it looks like. Like, it's just, love it. So good, guys. Guys, let us know how you spend time with God. We want to know. Maybe it's different. Maybe you'll even speak to one of the other youth and they'll be like, oh my gosh, I do that too. Or maybe you'll help someone lead them into their space of encounter. So yeah, maybe you're like Dean and you love nature and, you know, God really speaks to you that way. Let us know. That's so something for me, especially if I'm at the beach. If I'm at the beach, like, I'm like, oh wow, God, you're amazing. Like, I love being there. But yeah, let us know how you spend time with God. We want to hear. But let's go to question number 5. Do you ever struggle in your relationship with God? If so, how do you work through it and keep your relationship with God growing?
Yeah.
So, yes, absolutely struggle. Often, almost daily. But the number one verse that my dad taught me regarding struggle growing up is from Proverbs, which says, though a righteous man falls, he gets up again. Which is super important because it says a lot. First thing that we need to take note of that is righteous people fall. Okay, they struggle, they have difficulties, you know. So it happens to everyone. If it happens to the righteous, it happens to the rest of us. So it's one thing to keep in mind. So therefore, the expectation should be lowered straight away. And secondly, that they get back up again. So it's too easy to throw in the towel and to give up. It really is. And that's what the enemy wants. And he does that with guilt and shame and false expectation. But if we are just honest with the Lord, and we embrace the grace that he has for us, we're able to get back up again and keep walking with him. It doesn't mean that we shouldn't feel, you know, a little bit of guilt and sorrow for what we've done, but if we stay in that place, that's really dangerous, and it's not what Jesus died on the cross for. Otherwise, we're throwing his forgiveness back in his face. But again, it's putting it right with him and then moving on from that and choosing to leave those feelings of thought, of shame and guilt behind. I mean, grace by definition is something we don't deserve. If we constantly operate in the guise of thinking that we need to be perfect and then we stuff up, we don't understand grace at all, because we don't deserve grace, even when we're at our very best, right? We still can't earn grace. It's beyond us. That's what grace is. So we need to apply that to us. It doesn't mean we stop trying. It doesn't mean that we stop pressing into the Lord. But if you do make a mistake, you need to fix that with the Lord as quickly as you can and then move on from there. You can't stay in that place and dwell in it, because it will destroy you.
And I think that's so key, because so often we just get filled with guilt and that becomes our stumbling block in our relationship with God. Whereas, you know, God died on the cross for your worst crime, you know, and he would do it over and over again. And, you know, I think that's such an encouraging message, you know, especially for you guys and, you know, for anyone really. Like, it doesn't matter what you've done or, you know, how far you might feel from God. His grace is sufficient for you, and it's because of that you can have access to Christ. And, you know, you said it so well, Dean, you just got to get back up again.
Yeah, you have to. You can't afford to stay in that place. People, I've seen it. I've done it myself. I've stopped praying for a little bit because I'm like, oh man, I just don't deserve to be in his presence. Like, I feel so bad. Of course I don't deserve it. That's the whole point. That's the whole point of grace. I don't deserve it, but he gives me that anyway. So you just, and ignoring circumstance, which includes feelings. Feelings lie to you, right? Feelings are not a true barometer of how the Lord is operating. But the Word of God is 100% true and factual. I can build my house on that. I can't build my house on feelings.
Yeah, yeah.
So regardless of how I feel, I know that the Lord loves me, that He wants me in His presence, and He's willing to forgive me. And He wants me to come in under His grace and then resume intimacy with Him, regardless of how I feel about it.
Yeah, amen.
So good.
So good.
I'm not even going to answer that because that was so good, and I mean I mess up and I struggle as well, but exactly what Dean said. I just prefer that.
Yeah, that was amazing. Yeah, so good. Guys, let us know what you thought. Give us an emoji. Tell us, what's in your head. We want to hear from you. That was amazing, Dean. Thanks for. I think, I don't know. I'm just sensing a bit of freeing happening for someone listening to this.
Good.
I saw that reaction.
I think we only have 2 reactions we can put on this thing. It's ridiculous.
I know, it's so sad. You can only do a thumbs up or a clap. Like, come on, guys.
No, there should be more than that.
I know. All right, and last question, guys. What's one thing you love about God and why?
Okay. I love so many things, but
just one.
In line with what Dean was saying, I love that He is okay with my mess. And I love that because I'm not the sort of person that is okay with mess. I'm getting better because I have children now. And I'm not a clean freak. Like, by all means, don't expect my house to be spotless if you ever come here. But I do like things to be ordered, and when things aren't ordered, I'm okay. But if things were all ordered, I'm like, yes, ultimate heaven. But God is not like that, and he doesn't need me to be perfect to come before Him. And I love that even when things are all messy, He's like, it's okay, I'm cool with that. I'm okay with that, and I will hang out with you, and I will walk you through this, and you're never too far gone. And He's just not afraid of it. He's not like trying to clean it up quickly. Quick, you need to clean it up because you know you've messed this up. He's like, take your time. Like, let's just do this slowly. Let's work through your junk slowly. But yeah, he's not like that. And I love that His grace is like that, just loves me.
Yeah. No, that's amazing.
I love the fact that He shows up when I feel like I least deserve it. Like, I've been some of my lowest points, and God's like, yo, I love you, man. And it just blows me away because, again, it's just proof of His grace that I feel like I'm such a sinner, like so not good enough for His love. And He's just like, and He just rocks in with His grace and His presence. He's like, man, you're my son. I love you so much. Like, I sent my son to die for you. I want you. I desire you. And just feeling His presence in those tough moments is just one of the most amazing things. Like, grace in operation is that experience. It's just when you feel so low, but God just rocks up anyway.
Yeah.
Like, He sees you hurting, and like He can't just stand by. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you've done stuff wrong, but like when you come to Him and you're willing to ask for His forgiveness, and He just comes in waves of grace, it's just the most special thing you can experience. It's when you know that you're truly loved because you're at your lowest. You're not at your best. You know you haven't earned this love. So it's this undeserved love that you can experience in those moments that makes you know Jesus is real. Because it's not based on what I've done and what I can do and how I perform. His love is proved to me when I don't deserve it. And that's just the most amazing and reassuring feeling you can have as a Christian.
Yeah. Good word. If only we had the piano right now to bring in Reckless Love.
Well, I could have.
Oh, the overwhelming, never ending.
The other song, what's the other song?
Church on Fire.
No, That one,
Eagle's wings.
you don't
All
have,
things are possible.
you don't have to come, but you always do. That
Don't know
Bethel
it.
song. Okay. Don't worry. If you guys know the song, you don't have to come, but you
Always do. Yes.
All right, here we
Yes.
are.
I
Yes.
can't get the rest of it. No. No.
He showed up.
Hey guys, just even in this moment, like, go into your room, maybe spend some time with God, put on, a song, Reckless Love, or the song that Yanina and I kind of know in our head but can't remember the name of, but there's an invitation for you guys, like even in this moment where God is saying, I love you and I just want to spend time with you. You are the apple of my eye, you are my child, and I will always be pleased with you, and I just want to embrace you. So guys, know that you're loved. We love you so much. It's been such an honor to be able to hang out with you guys. Dean and Yanina, thank you so much for just the wisdom and just realness and vulnerability that you guys brought. Like, it was actually so good. Like, come on, guys. Give me a come on. Give them a round of applause. Give them a clapping hands emoji. Show them your love and affection, because that was amazing. And we've got some VeggieTales characters.
If anyone knows who these characters are, Dean will come up with a song for you and I'll sing it, okay?
Sure.
So the light's kind of blinding the last, now bring it a bit more in this way. Like the pirate you can't really see. And
Don't worry. You've seen enough. If you know who these people are, you let us know.
But the last one, is it a blob? Like, is it a carrot? I didn't even, like.
This one. It's very hard
Okay.
in this light.
Yeah. Okay, kind of looks like, okay, cool.
Oh,
So
that's
small
the competition.
pirate. All right, guys, so that's a competition. If you know who those characters are, I'm assuming it's a reference from a Bible story.
Maybe.
Maybe not.
Oh, it's VeggieTales, so it'd have to be. So, guys, if you know what that is, put it in the comments and let us know, and you will get a prize. I will mail it out. Maybe it's the recording plus something else. I don't know.
We'll figure it out.
It could
Probably.
be anything. It could be pancake mix. Or maybe
Dirt.
whoever gets it right, Franco has to shave his head.
Oh,
No.
poor Franco.
No, man. No. Mm.
Don't worry,
Come
Franco.
on, should that be the challenge? Maybe we should shave Franco's head.
I will unlove everyone who gets on board with Franco shaving his head. He's my boy. I love him, and I'll protect him forever.
It's pretty amazing. All the youth leaders are. We love our leaders. But guys, we hope that you've enjoyed this time. We love you and we miss you. Make sure to keep posted on social media, messages from me to know what's happening for youth. We've got heaps going on, cooking classes, exercise classes, youth on a Friday night, Wednesday devotionals. Have you loved them? They've been so good.
And stay tuned for Cly's online karate classes. They'll be starting in 2 weeks' time.
Is that a thing? Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Now it's a thing.
Karate Kid with Kyle. Ooh.
Karate online with Cly.
All right, guys. We love you so much. Send us your love. We love you, and we hope to see you soon. All right. Bye.
Ninja Baker.
And that is it. And